It's Mejia May.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Danny Mejia, aka Mejia Made. Today, I'm gonna be showing y'all how I made this melodic soul sample. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started with this breakdown. The first thing we're gonna start off with are these Rhodes. This was one of the times when I was just sitting on the piano trying to come up with different melodies. What I usually like to do first is find out the chords that I like, and then from there I'll build out a melody around it. So around this time when I was making samples, I was using a lot of analog lab 5, which is the VST I use for the Rhodes. I use the mid-range preset. First thing we're going to start off with is this fruity parametric EQ. For this sound, what I ended up doing is deducting that low end all the way up to 116 hertz. And then I took off a lot of that top end down to 3000 kilohertz. Next up, I wanted the Rhodes to sound a little bit more interesting. So what I did is add these fruity flanges. I was scrolling through the different presets and I came across this one. It just gave the Rhodes a little bit extra texture and it made them a little more wide too. And then lastly, to give it some of that old school feel, I used one of my favorite plugins by Arturia called Tape Mellowfi. I used the Lo-Fi Quiver preset. So now let's go ahead and compare the Rhodes sound before and after. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the effects and let's hear what it sounds like. And with the effects turned on, after I had laid out the foundation, which is the Rhodes sound, I wanted to add a bass line. Let's listen to what it sounds like. So y'all can tell it's a super simple bass line. I felt like the Rhodes were already doing so much, which is the reason why I decided to keep the bass line so simple. The VST I use for the bass line comes from a library off of Contact. I use the Scarby MM Bass preset. The only effect I use is this fruity parametric EQ. I really wanted just a lot of that low end and no top end from the bass line. So what I did is deduct a lot of that top end down to 246 hertz. So let's go ahead and listen to what we have so far, which is the Rhodes and the bass line. Both of them sound like this. Next up, I wanted to layer the Rhodes and add more texture to the sample, so I went with this sound. The VST I use for this sound is a free plugin by Spitfire Audio called Labs. I use the Tape Piano Spliced Upright preset. The only additional effect I added is this fruity parametric EQ. Next up, I wanted to add some strings to the sample, so I added this melody line. For this sound, I unfortunately don't have the VST I used for it or the preset, so let's go ahead and dig into the effects. The only thing I added is this fruity parametric EQ. I deducted a lot of that low end down to 127 hertz and then some of that top end as well. So after I had added the Rhodes, piano, bass, and string, I wanted to add something else to really make the sample stand out. I ended up coming across this flute sound that comes from Analog Lab. It's part of their Mellotron series. So I was trying to come up with different melody lines. I came up with this and I felt like it really complements the Rhodes melody. So let's go ahead and listen to what it sounds like solo. And once again, the only effect I added for this sound is Fruity Parametric EQ. I ended up coming across this guitar sound again from Analog Lab 5. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what it sounds like. For this sound, I did end up adding quite a bit of effects. So let's go ahead and start breaking them down. The first thing I did is added this Fruity Parametric EQ. I took off some of that low end and top end. Next up, I used one of my favorite widening plugins, which is really just an out of pitch plugin, except as we can see in the effects channel right over here, they have a little knob called width, and I just turned it up to 1.6 cents. Next up, I wanted the guitar to feel like if it was in a room setting. So I ended up going with this reverb plugin called ROM. I used the ambiance preset. And then finally, I wanted to degrade the quality of the guitar. So the plugin I use for that is Decimort 2. So with the effects turned off, this is what the guitar originally sounded like. And with the effects turned on, so as y'all can tell without the effects, not only is it a lot more wide, that Decimort 2 plugin really added a lot of texture to the guitar. Let's go ahead and just play the Rhodes and the guitar to see how those melodies bounce off of each other. For this next section of the sample, I wanted to keep it very basic. For this section, only the Rhodes, bass, and piano play, along with this additional sound that I ended up adding. So let's go ahead and listen to what it sounds like. I did end up using Analog Lab 5 once again. I used the Rubicon Part 1 strings and flute preset. So for this section, only the bass, flute, guitar, and a different Rhodes sound that I used play together. So let's go ahead and listen to what this new Rhodes sound sounds like. For this sound, there's no melodic line, it's just the chords. The VST I use for this sound comes from Contact. I use the Scarby Mark 1 Stretch Tune preset. I'm gonna go ahead and play the sample in full just so we can hear what everything sounds like in context. All right, y'all, so that was it for this week's sample breakdown. If y'all gained any type of insight from the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really going to help the channel grow. If y'all are new to the channel, I put out 4 videos a month, which is 2 beat breakdowns, a sample breakdown just like I did today, and I also do sample flip challenges. So I'm going to catch y'all next week for a new video. Stay blessed.